This video is sponsored by Motion Array. Let's talk about light leaks. What causes them? How do you create them? How do you prevent them or fix them on your film camera? I'll go over all of that in this video, including a quick guide to repairing film camera light seals. So light leaks are pretty much what they sound like, a phenomenon that results when light leaks onto the recording medium from a source besides the intended image being projected by the camera's lens, so usually an unintended source. It was and is common with film photography because the recording medium being film is not permanently and safely sealed inside the camera like a digital sensor. Film is organic, removable, dynamic, and irreversibly light sensitive, and often also in motion. So light can access it from multiple points, like a door, a film back, or the container itself, like the film canister. Light leaks can also occur on a digital image. For example, if you detach the lens slightly and let a bit of light onto the sensor, you'll see its effect on the image. People sometimes do this intentionally while shifting the focal plane around with the lens and shooting close-ups, and it's called freelensing. So light leaks on your photo or video may be an unwanted problem or a desired effect. It largely depends on your opinion and the individual situation in which it happened. Let's look at some common causes when shooting film, for example. First, there are given or expected manifestations, like the straight burn at the start of a roll caused by light that hits the exposed bit of 35mm film while loading, with a textured edge showing where the felt on the film canister separated the fully exposed film from the later exposed image made through the camera lens. Sometimes this burn lands on your first intentional image and can lend itself to a serendipitous effect depending on the placement. There's even entire Instagram pages dedicated to these kind of photos, like First of the Roll. But this might not be the first thing you think of when you consider light leaks. They become more messy and unexpected when they happen for other reasons, such as when light makes it past that felt seal on the film canister before loading and then piping through the actual film or sprockets themselves. This can affect up to a few of the first images on your roll and is more prone to happening on certain film stocks for which the manufacturer normally recommends loading that film in subdued light. Next up are leaks caused by mishandling, like the classic opening of the film camera before remembering to rewind the film. Anyone done that? This can often blast at least a few previously recorded images away with light. Or leaks that happen at other stages of handling like storage, transport during development, or ineffectively wrapped backing paper on exposed rolls of medium format film, otherwise known as fat rolls. So far, these have been expected causes or user error, but traditionally the most common light leaks are ones we think of when we see the erratic streaks and blotches throughout the roll. The most common culprit is worn light seals, but can also be from other parts of the camera, as seemingly trivial as loose strap lugs on the side, or anywhere really that allows stray light to eventually hit the film. The source of these leaks can often be traced by looking at their color when shooting color film. Light leaks that are white to bluish in color are from light hitting the front of the film, known as the emulsion side, meaning they've most likely come from somewhere like the shutter, the lens, or the shutter side of a removable film back on a medium format camera, for example. Leaks that are red to orange leaning, however, are created by light hitting the back of the film, most commonly from the door or back area of the camera where you load the film. The base or shiny side of the film is not designed to be exposed through normally, so this orangey red nature of leaks from the back is the same mechanic for creating red scale images, and is the premise used by red scale films like Lomo Red Scale, for example, or CineStill's Oopsie Daisy 200. Alright, so with this knowledge in mind, I'll now show you how to fix unwanted light leaks on your film camera. First, I'll show you the easy, lazy, and temporary way. If you're getting the more common orange leaks, just use some gaffer tape to tape up any suspect areas around the back and sides of your camera. But do this after you load a roll and before you start shooting it. This usually means just taping up along the edges of the door. So leave this tape on until you've completely finished the roll and rewound it. Then you can remove the tape so that you can retrieve your film. If your leaks were indeed coming from the seals in the door or hinge, this should prevent them. But it's a bit of a hassle to do each time. And also, if you're getting blue-white leaks, this may not be as effective unless maybe it's a removable medium format back that you can tape the seams of, or you happen to know where the leak is coming from and it's not from somewhere that's functionally important during normal shooting. That generally warrants a proper repair. So for the repair of most common light leaks caused by bad light seals, you can send the camera to a qualified repairer, or you can attempt to do it yourself. It may not be as hard as you think, especially for the most common cameras like 35mm SLRs. If you inspect the old seals, you can usually tell if they're badly worn out and if they're the most likely cause of your leaks. From here, you can choose to replace all the seals or just the suspect ones. Up to you. You can either look up and buy entire light seal kits from places like Aki Asahi online, I'll put a link in the description, or you can cut out and make your own from pads of seal material that you can also buy online in various thicknesses. So first, take note of the thickness of the existing seals if you're planning on using your own. Now also measure them however you find works for you. You can use a ruler, or maybe cut out some paper to use as a stencil, or maybe some string for thinner areas with bendy corners. Get creative. Now remove all traces of the old bad seal or seals with something that ideally won't damage your camera's finish. I like to shave a bamboo skewer to fashion a scraper of the appropriate size. And after scraping off most of the loose seal material, use some alcohol or similar to remove all the residue with a cotton tip or something until you have a clean surface. Now grab your pre-made seals or cut and measure your own seals to the appropriate dimensions and material thickness. And then do a test placement before applying. Once the size is right, peel off the backing and carefully stick the new seals in place. I suggest doing this progressively and using a bit of spit or other moisture to neutralize the adhesive first, to give yourself some wiggle room when making micro adjustments while applying. That's it, done. Check your door, make sure it's still closing properly and everything sits nicely, and then test it out on your next roll. Now that you've seen what causes them and how they vary and how to fix them, you probably have an idea about how to create them intentionally if that's what you want to do. When it comes to film cameras, you can intentionally modify or damage your camera or seals to create leaks, but I do not recommend this unless you accept the risks and irreversible nature. You can intentionally open the back in subdued light, perhaps unshielding specific parts of the edges of the door, maybe throughout the roll, but this will probably reset your film counter, cause other issues, or it won't yield the results you're after, to be honest. So I also wouldn't recommend it. You guys can feel free to recommend other mechanical methods to each other in the comments at your own discretion. An easier and safer way if you really love light leaks might be to just add them digitally in post, even if it's on scanned film. There are a bunch of light leak overlays available online if you don't want to create your own, and these can especially work well on video. Sure, the idea of adding this intrinsically problematic effect might be cringe to some, but hey, do whatever creates the results that you're after. People add dust, scratches, vignettes, grain, and all kinds of things that aren't inherent to the image, whether it's digital or scanned film. And the perfect place to get these assets would be today's sponsor, Motion Array. Whether you're a photographer, videographer, or other digital creative, we can all attest to the amount of time spent creating or finding the right assets for your projects. Motion Array is an all-in-one, high-quality platform for anything you need when it comes to templates, plugins, titles, transitions, music, and sound effects. I use Motion Array for high-quality stock footage to get shots that I couldn't otherwise get myself, while saving a whole bunch of time. I also love the easy-to-use templates and titles for some of my favorite editing software. Whether you're using DaVinci Resolve, Premiere, After Effects, or Final Cut, there's a huge variety of quality resources available to browse through. One of the best things I like is the membership-based system, which allows you to sign up for as long as you prefer and have unlimited downloads. You get the license to use them anywhere in whatever projects you like. And since they recently added stock images and graphics, it really is a one-stop resource for anything you might need, whether it's some film effects and overlays, or the right sound effects and music tracks for your videos. You can even install plugins and extensions for Premiere, After Effects, and Photoshop to access the assets from within your software. This is great if you want to create content for personal and professional projects, or even social media content in different sizes and formats. So Motion Array really is one of the best ways to make your content look great. You can also give it a try first with access to hundreds of assets on a free account. Follow the link in this video's description to sign up and start downloading. So thanks to Motion Array for sponsoring this video. I did also mention freelancing, which you can do on film or digital, but this has many restrictions, especially with film, like the obvious difficulty of freely previewing the results. And either way, shooting with a lens floating away from the mount becomes fiddly with hand-holding, and turns your lens into a macro also, meaning you can't focus on far subjects. It does also allow you to tilt and shift the plane of focus though, which can be cool. The trick I recommend is to use something like a black velvet scrunchie to seal off the light at the gap, which you can then use to let in more controlled bits of light to create those flares or leaks onto the sensor or film. All right guys, so that's my summary of light leaks. It can be a cool effect that people might add intentionally to their video footage or even their photos, or it might happen accidentally on your film photos, for example, and land in a way that actually takes an otherwise ordinary image and turns it into one that you find interesting. It's really up to you. But generally, light leaks that you're not expecting that happen consistently across rolls of film are problematic and something that are worth fixing, which is why I thought I'd chuck in that quick guide to fixing light seals. It's not as hard as it seems, it's not that expensive, and really, if you're already getting leaks on a camera, you don't have much to lose by attempting to repair them yourself. But of course, if you're not confident, definitely send it to someone qualified, to a service person or repair place, get them to do it for you properly. Adding light leaks to your video footage can give it that bit of extra interest. It is something that I really like seeing on some things like Super 8 footage, which I used a bit of in this video, when they happen naturally at the beginning of the roll, during cuts and stuff like that. So depending how you imitate that effect, it can turn out quite interesting. Thanks for watching another Pushing Film video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments or suggestions for future videos to do with this topic or other topics, and I'll see you on the next video.